Have you ever wondered how a powerful nation like Russia could lose nearly 90% of its ground troops in the Ukraine war? It's a startling statistic, isn't it? A military heavyweight experiencing such devastating losses. What could be the reasons behind this? Could it be strategies gone awry? Or perhaps underestimated resilience? To understand this, we need to explore the chronological events of the war. The conflict began with Russia's aggressive move on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. The world watched in shock as Russian forces launched rockets at a TV tower, severely damaging broadcasting hardware and raising grave concerns about the city's communications infrastructure. This audacious attack came shortly after Russia warned of strikes on other Ukrainian security agency facilities, leaving no doubt about its intentions. As tensions escalated, satellite images revealed a Russian convoy heading towards Kyiv. However, their advance was halted abruptly thanks to unforeseen fuel supply issues. This pause in movement, albeit unexpected, gave Ukraine a much-needed breather. This was a war that had been thrust upon them, and every moment of respite was a chance to regroup, rethink, and respond. The initial stages of the war saw a flurry of activity, an unsettling mix of dread and determination. But as the war progressed, the tide began to turn. Despite Russia's significant military power, Ukraine's allies started sending more weapons to aid its defense. This marked a turning point in the conflict as Ukraine's allies around the world rallied to their side. The international community, understanding the gravity of the situation, acted with solidarity and haste, supplying Ukraine with the necessary resources to counter the Russian onslaught. This support was not just diplomatic or symbolic, it was tangible and immediate. From advanced weaponry to strategic advice, Ukraine's allies underpinned the country's resistance. The impact was felt quickly on the ground. Ukrainian forces, bolstered by this support, started focusing on decimating Russian ground forces. This strategic shift proved to be a game-changer, causing a significant decrease in Russian troops. The tide of the war began to turn. The underdog, Ukraine, once on the back foot, started to push back against the Russian aggression. The relentless spirit of the Ukrainian forces, combined with the support from their allies, started to shift the balance. The Russian forces, once seemingly invincible, began to waver under the sustained counterattacks. The war of attrition began to take its toll on the Russian side. The depletion of military stockpiles and the use of older, unfit, and ill-trained recruits began to weaken Russia's ground forces. The war shifted from a blitzkrieg-style conquest to a relentless war of attrition. Russia's once formidable ground troops began to falter, facing not only the relentless Ukrainian resistance, but also the challenges of dwindling resources and inadequate training. The casualties mounted on the Russian side, with their ranks thinning at an alarming rate. The war had taken a toll that was measured not only in territories lost but in lives. This led to Russia losing nearly 90% of its ground troops. So what have we learned from this conflict? The Russia-Ukraine war began with the initial success of the Russian forces, but the tide turned as Ukraine received increased support from its allies. The focus soon shifted to ground troops, where Russia's strength was significantly diminished. Several factors contributed to this loss, including strategic missteps, logistical issues, and relentless Ukrainian resistance. The Russia-Ukraine war is a stark reminder of the unpredictability of conflict and the potential for underdogs to hold their ground against major powers.